Hey guys, welcome back to the Buzz Weaver channel. And you know, if there is breaking news, we're going to cover it here on the channel. Now, just 21 minutes ago, as of my time here in the East Coast, that would be 8:22 Eastern Daylight Time, from the AP, North Korea fires ballistic missile that flew over Japan. Seoul, South Korea. North Korea on Tuesday fired a ballistic missile over Japan, its neighbors said. Escalating tests of weapons designed to strike key targets in regional U.S. allies aimed stalled nuclear diplomacy. The Japanese Prime Minister's office said at least one missile fired from North Korea flew over Japan and was believed to have landed in the Pacific Ocean. It said authorities have issued an alert to residents in northeastern regions to evacuate buildings nearby in what was reportedly the first such alert in 5 years. Trains were temporarily suspended in Japan's Hokkaido and Aomori regions before their operations were resumed later, after a government noticed that the North Korean missile appeared to have landed into the Pacific. So, interesting provocations. And there's always this idea sometimes, for example, when we talk about the Civil War or the most recent actions here in the States, perhaps leading to a civil war, it doesn't happen as quickly as you would think. For example, when you're watching a documentary on World War II or World War I, you hear the intros, and then suddenly things start to unfold within a matter of minutes. Well, that's not really the way it works in real life, right? For example, when you watch your favorite TV drama, for example, a murder mystery, they solve it all within a 45-minute time period. But of course, that's not the way it happens in real life. It takes time. It takes build-up. So we can't imagine like two particular lines here in the United States lining up to fight one another in some sort of civil war. However, we're seeing escalations in the Pacific. We're seeing escalations in that region. Of course, as you know, after Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, the reaction that China had by firing its own missiles and doing its own maneuvers and military operations around the water. And we all know about what's going on in Russia, particularly now as the Ukrainians are pushing them out of certain regions, out of certain territories, because the HIMARS and other equipment that have been sent to the U.S. have been a huge help to push out the Russians. And of course, they're suffering from their own sets of corruption and other things going on in that country. However, these are interesting developments that are continuing to push things in a very interesting way. As we covered here on the channel, the Nord Stream pipeline that was intentionally sabotaged. We know it was sabotage. We know it was intentional. We just don't know who it is at this time. Each side is trying to point fingers at one or the other. And in my opinion, it's really going to depend on who gets a greater benefit from it to kind of see maybe where it's leaning. But that's all speculation on my part. We don't really know what all is going to happen. But this sort of provocation here, these sorts of maneuvers that either North Korea is doing or China is encouraging North Korea to do, however you want to interpret it, it can lead to additional provocations. Now, we can say, oh, well, fortunately, the missile just landed in the ocean, as it says here, it landed in the Pacific. However, you never really know what can possibly happen. It's these little subtleties. It's these little types of, sand on a heap, as Tim Pool likes to say, that builds things up. Because as we said earlier, it isn't going to be a matter of seeing two different countries skirmishing all of a sudden the very next day in a battle, just like here in the States with our own divisiveness that's going on among the parties, among the ideologies. It's not going to happen just overnight. You're not going to have two different states or two different parts of the country or two different parties of political ideologies lining up to fight over a certain line boundary in the United States. But that doesn't mean that there isn't already some sort of maneuvering going on, as we're seeing happen to President Trump, the political persecution that's continuing to happen with the Democrats. A lot of stuff going on. And recently, guys, nearly every video that I have made now has been demonetized, or I should say set to limited ads. I even contacted YouTube today, and they just said, here's our feedback. I guess give them feedback about it. Haven't heard anything, but those videos are still now, I still have them set and they're in limited ads, so I won't be releasing those. We'll see how this video works out. So your guys' support is always greatly appreciated. I try to keep you on the cutting edge, as you know here. We take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the tumult, we take the confusion, try to make it simple. So I try to bring you this information as quickly as it develops. This is extraordinarily important considering what all is going on in the Pacific. So your guys' support of the channel is always appreciated. And to you guys on Rumble, BitChute, DTube, Odyssey, thank you guys so much for your continued support. And appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon for you guys to click on to subscribe to the channel, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.